Welcome. This is Subject to Existing Debt video tutorial number 5. My name is Jeffrey Smith. This is the Subject to Existing Debt spreadsheet. I'm positioned on the blended financing worksheet. This is where you can do what-if analysis to come up with a financing structure that makes sense for you, for the seller, and for your buyer. Let's assume you found a motivated seller with a move-in ready property, fair market value $250,000. Your goal is to negotiate a discount of 20% on that property. In this scenario, we'll assume that there's an existing loan of $180,000, 4.5% annual interest rate, 30 years remaining. Now a seller might think that $250,000 minus $180,000, he has $70,000 in equity. Your goal is to disabuse him of that myth. And the way you do that is you ask the seller during your negotiations, what if a realtor brought an offer to you for $225,000 from a well-qualified buyer with 20% cash down payment and a pre-approval? A motivated seller would probably accept that offer just to get rid of the property. You would then take out a net equity worksheet and begin subtracting all the costs of closing. 6% is about average for real estate commissions, closing costs, buyer incentives, holding costs. It could take 1 or 2 months, maybe more, to sell the property and close. Then you have the existing debt to pay off, the net equity $18,500. You've successfully reduced the seller's expectation, and he's motivated because he's had this property for sale. He hasn't gotten any serious offers, and you're the first one to come along with a creative solution to his problem. You propose, what if I were to take over the payments on your existing loan until I can find someone to take over the property, and you would be completely free of dealing with this property. You can move on with your life. You would use this worksheet to come up with a structure where instead of $18,500, you could offer him $20,000 if he accepts it in the form of a note of 60 payments. That's 5 years. You'll offer him 7% interest, and this note will fully amortize over 5 years. You then find a buyer who is unable or unwilling to qualify for bank financing, who wants to put down just 10% plus closing costs. You would do a single wrap, click the single wrap button. We mark up the price 5% above the fair market value because you're offering very favorable terms, requiring a 10% down payment. That goes to you as an assignment fee because you will assign your purchase and sale agreement to the end buyer for a cash down payment, as well as carrying back a wraparound note for the remainder of your created equity, $36,250. By structuring it in a wraparound note, the individual payments of the primary tranche, secondary tranche, and tertiary tranche, they're all added together to form the periodic payment for the wrap. The debt present values are added together to form the blended debt present value, and then the interest rate is calculated according to the amortization periods of the primary tranche. So the interest rate is 9.9271% or 9.93%. Try to keep this number under 10% for the wrap. That will avoid undue scrutiny on your financing structure. Now, in this scenario, after 60 months, the balloon of $228,046 is due. When you subtract the maturity value of the senior debts, that will leave about $64,000 for you. So you're lending $36,250. You're getting $753 a month for 5 years. And at the back end, when the buyer sells or refinances, you're getting another $64,000. And you never took title to the property. You're not in a sandwich lease option. And the buyer, assuming a 3% annual appreciation rate in the price of the house will be worth $290,500 after 5 years. That's creating $62,454 in equity. His margin of equity is 21.5%. That means he could do an 80% loan-to-value refinance, rate and terms refinance, and pay you off. That would lower his payments, pay you off. He would still have his equity. It's a win-win-win solution. This shows you the power of wraparound notes. This has been Subject to Existing Debt Spreadsheet, video tutorial number 5. My name is Jeffrey Smith, and thank you for your support.